Some houses keep secrets, others speak them aloud. Tonight, you'll hear about one that whispered back, and once you hear it, you'll never be the same. A whispering image, real horror story. The house that answered back. The Dare. It was supposed to be a harmless Halloween dare. 3 friends, Evan, Melissa, and Jordan, had grown up hearing about the Brantford House, a crumbling Victorian mansion at the edge of town. Kids called it the house that answered back. The legend was simple. If you stood in the foyer and called out your name, the house would whisper it back to you, but not in your own voice. On Halloween night, lit only by a pale harvest moon, the 3 decided to test it. The front gate groaned like it hadn't been touched in years. The air was unnaturally still. No crickets, no wind, just silence. "Feels like we're walking into a movie set for a murder scene," Melissa muttered, hugging herself against the cold. Inside, the air smelled of mold and something faintly metallic, like old blood. The first whisper. They found the foyer a grand circular space with a chandelier that hung on rusted chains like a corpse on a noose. "All right, I'll go first," Evan said, forcing a laugh. He stepped into the center. His voice echoed, "Evan." For a long second, nothing. Then, from somewhere deep in the walls, "Ivan." The voice was soft, but not his. Lower, wet, like it was speaking through water. Melissa gasped. Jordan tried to laugh it off, but his eyes darted to the shadows. "My turn," Melissa said, though her voice trembled. She whispered her name. The house waited, and then hissed it back in a breath so close, she swore it tickled her ear. But when she spun around, no one was there. The game changes. Jordan didn't want to do it. He was pale, but peer pressure won. He stepped forward and called his name loudly. This time, the voice didn't repeat it. It changed it. "Stay?" Jordan's eyes widened. "That wasn't my name." Ugh. They all heard it, that word dripping with something almost pleading, almost threatening. Evan swallowed. "Let's just go." But when they turned to leave, the heavy front doors were shut. They hadn't heard them close. Melissa grabbed the handle. It didn't move, not even a rattle. Then, from somewhere upstairs, slow, deliberate footsteps. The upstairs. They should have stayed put, but human curiosity is a dangerous thing. "Someone's up there," Jordan whispered. They climbed the grand staircase, their footsteps kicking up clouds of dust. The steps above them creaked like they were being walked on, but the moment they reached the landing, silence. A long hallway stretched in both directions, lined with faded portraits of people whose eyes seemed too real, the kind of painted eyes that follow you. Halfway down the hall, a door was open, just a crack. Evan pushed it. Inside was a bedroom frozen in time, a child's room, judging by the tiny bed and shelves of toys. But the toys were wrong. The doll's eyes were missing. The stuffed animals had seams ripped open, like something had clawed its way out. On the wall, written in what looked like dried brown paint, or maybe something worse, were the words, "Say my name, the voice that isn't yours." Before anyone could react, the door slammed shut behind them. The whisper came again, but closer inside the room this time. "Say it." Evan shouted, "Who are you?" No answer, just the sound of breathing. Melissa clutched his arm. "It's right here." And then it spoke, but it didn't sound like any of them. It sounded like all of them at once, their voices blended in a sick, layered echo. "You came to play." The light bulb flickered and died. In the dark, the air grew thick and warm, as if something was breathing against their faces. Jordan's voice shook. "We didn't mean to." "Stay." The shout rattled the walls, and every toy in the room turned its head toward them. The escape that isn't. They bolted, throwing open the door and tearing down the hallway, but the house had changed. The hallway stretched longer than before. The front staircase was gone, replaced by another endless corridor lined with doors. Every door they tried led to the same room, the child's room with the missing-eyed dolls. "We're in a loop," Melissa gasped. Evan spun around, ready to scream at the walls. When he saw it, at the end of the hall stood a child, a girl, maybe 7 years old, wearing a dirty white nightgown. Her head tilted at an unnatural angle, and her mouth stretched too wide when she smiled. "Say my name," she whispered. The choice. They didn't know it yet, but the Brantford House had rules. You don't leave until you say the right name, and if you guess wrong, you stay forever. Evan stammered, "Is it Lily?" The girl shook her head. Her smile grew wider, splitting skin at the corners of her mouth. "Melissa?" Melissa tried. The girl took one step closer, her bare feet making a wet sound on the wood. Jordan backed up until his shoulders hit a wall. He blurted the only thing he could think of. "Brantford." The girl stopped. Her head twitched. Then, for the first time, she frowned. The house groaned. Somewhere, far below, the front doors slammed open. The twist. They didn't wait. They ran, following the scent of cold air until they burst into the night. Outside, the world looked the same, at first. But when Evan glanced back at the house, it wasn't there. Just a rotting field and the remains of a foundation. Melissa stared. "It's gone." Jordan's voice trembled. "No, it's here. Look." He pointed at the ground. In the dirt, 3 shadows stretched away from them. But they weren't their shadows. They were standing still and smiling. Some houses don't just haunt you, they keep a piece of you. So, if you ever hear a whisper asking for your name, don't answer. You might not like the voice that says it back. Please give a like and do subscribe. Whisper Image for more horror stories.